Hi, fellow seekers. Sally the Seeker here. I hope everyone is doing great. We're going to continue on with the Hannah Payne trail. Not a trail, but it's a trial. But we will go down a trail to get through the trial, won't we? So I hope, like I said, I hope everyone's doing well. The sound on this again, I don't know if I said it on the last one. I can't remember because there seem to be audio problems on a lot of these court things. And some, they come on very loudly. This one is not super loud. I have turned my volume up the loudest I can. So, if you use earbuds or a the headset, that might be the same thing. But, I'm talking about the thing that covers your ears and all that, like earmuffs. It might be helpful. But then you have to be careful, too, because the sound could come on all of a sudden. But I just wanted to let you know that so you could get the best quality possible. And I'm going to say, excuse my, you know me, I guess if you have been with me long enough, you will be prone to me, unfortunately, coughing sometimes, clearing my throat. Luckily, and I hate to say this because I'm not superstitious, but as sure as I say, oh, I haven't been sick, then I get sick. But, we've had a lot of people with flu and COVID and everything. And, of course, the kids, a lot of people have been sick, teachers, everybody. So far, I have managed to hang strong. That could always be subject to change, I'm sure. But right now, I am dealing with Florida is a tough place. If you're sensitive lungs, allergies, there's something in the air right now. So I apologize for my voice. If you hear me at this time last year, it really sounds bad. It sounds like, well, maybe now at times I sound like I'm a chain smoker, but never smoked in my life. My lungs should be clear, but they're not. But that's just how it goes. But that's just another day in the life. But, so like right now, I'm drinking water. So just excuse those annoyances. And hopefully it won't take away too much from the trial. So there's Hannah standing there. The jury's getting ready to come in. The one of the district attorneys, the one who will be, I think, questioning the next witness, she's Bonnie Smith. And just to kind of give you a quick, I try to, of course, as I'm talking, wasting time, sorry about, I bumped that, but trying to delay a lot of the chit chat in the beginning. Of course, nothing will be like Darrell, because there's always way too much talking at the beginning that maybe sometimes we want to hear, and maybe a lot of times we don't, because it's just the same old thing, just a different day. But with this, she just had the district attorney had a few things about a witness rescheduling to Monday, according to this day anyhow. And the only other thing that was kind of interesting if you're really into the court stuff, and maybe this isn't as interesting to you, but when we had Mr. Robinson, Terry Robinson, the officer who gave like the longest testimony on the last video, apparently they said that, I think it was Exhibit 2, one of the exhibits was up, and at the time, no one was aware that his driver's license number, his phone number, and his home address were on there. And already Mr. Robinson had been receiving a lot of phone calls. So she wanted to clear that up for the court. And I guess the news people are going to try to make sure that's redacted. And the judge said, oh boy, she said, hopefully all the calls he received was good. And Bonnie Smith said, no, they weren't very nice. And he was pretty upset, understandably. But I guess they tried to take care of that. But can you imagine what kind of calls he might be getting? I mean, people just anyhow, even people are just stupid sometimes. I don't know why you'd want to call somebody and bother them in any situation. Leave it up to the courts and us just to talk about, of course. So now the jury's coming in. Okay, so I want to ask you all. So Hannah's face, it's just, do you think she's mad? Do you think she looks like she is resolved, like, okay, this is it? Or what do you think? Or is she scared? I mean, I can imagine being scared. I mean, even though she was 21 when it happened. By now, she's around 23, 24. That it is terrifying. But I guess, as you all will see, I never heard her, well, you'll see. I guess I look for regret in a person. That somehow there is some little grain of something that can redeem themselves. And I don't know. No, I don't think I've seen that yet. But maybe we'll see it. Hey, I speak too soon. Okay. So now they're bringing the jury in. And I purposely did wait because I wanted to hear Judge Scott say something to the jury, because her voice, I'm telling you guys, I am like in love with her voice. I guess especially because mine is all over the place. Up, sometimes down, sometimes up, different pitches. Hers and her first name being Jewel. It all fits in so nicely. Okay, enough of that. I know you're probably going, okay, yeah, thanks. Let's just keep going. Here we go. But what a scary situation to be in, I have to say. I always feel nervous for anyone sitting in court.
Of the jury. Thanks for the reminder. Everybody seems rested and relaxed and ready to go. We started our case yesterday, and at this time, the state is going to proceed to call its next witness. The state calls Kristy.
So this is Kristy. I think it's Superer. I think she is going to be the 911 supervisor, so we'll probably get to hear the calls that Hannah makes. And they're probably not going to be very loud, so maybe be prepared to get your sound turned up as well. Mine is turned up as much as I can, so we'll see how it all goes.
If you would please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you will give before the court in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You can take your hand down. Oh, I'm sorry, sit down too. Yes, you may do that.
She stood the whole time. Nobody said
Just
anything.
make sure you're speaking into the microphone so everyone can hear you. If you would please state and spell your name.
Kristy, Super, K-R-I-S-T-Y. Last name is S-U-P-P-E-R-E-R.
And so when I keep calling you Miss Supperer, I'm saying it wrong.
Either way is fine.
But it's Superer. Okay? I haven't said it right once, so. How are you employed?
I work at Clayton County E911.
And what is your job description?
I am the Training and Professional Standards Supervisor.
And how long have you worked in 911?
Yeah, a total of 20 years. I've been with Clayton County for over 7.
Are you familiar with how 911 calls come in to the call center and how they are kept and maintained?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell the jury a little bit about that, please.
So our calls have to be kept on file according to state records for a number of years, and then they have to be made available if someone requests them through open records. And only certain people can access the records.
And when a call comes in, how is the call recorded, and how does that start?
As soon as we pick up the phone, the call starts to record.
And the recordings that you obtain from someone who calls 911, are those recordings kept in the ordinary course of running the 911 center?
Yes.
And is there any ability, either during the call or after the call, to alter or change what is recorded in any way?
No.
In this particular case, on May the 7th of 2019, did the 911 call center receive 2 911 calls from a person by the name of Hannah Payne?
Yes.
And were those calls recorded?
Yes.
And were they maintained in the ordinary course of business?
Yes.
Are 911 operators given any training as to how to address or talk to various calls that come in?
Yes, we do have training. They train before they go out to the floor to take calls. They train in the classroom. We have different protocols that we use for different situations.
And so if a 911 operator is giving instructions, would that generally be part of what they were trained to do?
Yes.
Approach witness judge?
Yes.
I'm going to approach what has been pre-marked as State's Exhibit number 4. Do you recognize State's Exhibit number 4?
Yes.
And did you initial the envelope that contains the disc indicating that you had had the opportunity to listen to State's Exhibit number 4?
Yes, ma'am.
And the disc that is labeled as State's Exhibit number 4, does it contain the full content of 2 911 calls placed by defendant Hannah Payne in this case?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state tenders State's Exhibit number 4.
And presuming that once it starts, it does have the knowledge of the 911 call she remembers them.
Permission to publish?
Yes.
Looks like they might be experiencing a little technical difficulty there. Oh, just FYI. Those are Hannah's parents. Dad and mom right there. As a parent, I can imagine how nightmarish this must be for them. I mean, setting aside how I or anyone else might feel about the situation, just as a plain parent, taking away everything else. It must be, pretty rough to see the child that you love and raised, still love and raised to be in this kind of situation. But well, let's see. Okay. We may have to skip ahead. It may take a little while for it to get up. Let's see. I'll wait a second to be sure.
It's showing that, right? It's just ours. It's not just
Waiting as hell.
We're going to talk to the PC itself. It's going to work. That's that.
during these times, it does give us an opportunity to check out the body language of the people. The defendant, her attorney, the families, people. Mr. Herring's family right there. Waiting as hell for them too, I'm sure. Wow.
You know, we tested it all yesterday. Publish the first 911 call of the defendant, which is State's Exhibit 4A.
Alright, were they on, what were the kind of vehicles involved? It's a red Dodge pickup truck, I think it's a Dakota, and a semi was involved. And the red Dakota ran the red light and slammed into the side of the semi. It doesn't look like we received any reports on it yet. Okay, yeah. Here. Okay. Red Dakota, and were they on Forest Parkway or on Fort Howell? The semi and I were turning left on Forest Parkway, and the Dakota was going west on Forest Parkway. Oh, okay. And what's your name? My name is Hannah. H-A-N-N-A-E. Last name is Payne. P-A-Y-N-E. 470. We'll get someone out there and try to assist them. Okay, thank you. Okay.
And based on your review of State's Exhibit number 4, were you aware that the defendant then made another phone call from that same phone number to 911 a bit later?
Yes.
Okay. We could publish State's 4.
I'm on Fort Howell in Forest Parkway, Texas. I actually called 20 minutes ago for an accident, and I wanted to show up yet. But I never knew the person that the guy that caused the accident, who ran the red light, is drunk. And he got back in his car, and he's looking like he's trying to drive away. Okay, can you get his tag number? Hold on, he's driving away.
She said he was drunk. Ugh. No, but I'm catching up to him right now. Okay, no, we actually do not want you to chase him. We just want you to be safe. I understand. I understand 100%. I'm just gonna give the tag number, nothing else. But I'm going west down Forest Parkway. And almost up to him. I mean, his radiator is busted and everything. I honestly have no idea how he's driving his truck. The way that it is. So I know it was really hard to hear, but of course I think you basically heard the 911 operator tell her, you know, we don't want you to go after him. And Hannah said something like, well, I'll get his license plate number, if nothing else. And then she's talking about, I honestly don't know how he's able to drive the car, because as we heard from other testimonies, that the car was in pretty bad shape. It was smushed in and there were fluids leaking from it. So everybody was amazed. He was able to get in the car and drive it, or truck. And that's what Hannah was saying there, in case y'all didn't hear it.
Okay. It is a Georgia Tech license plate is R8A as an apple 4859.
So, if you can go back to that location where the incident happened, it's because someone is actually on the way to you guys now.
Okay, well, there's a police officer there, but he is drunk. I'm sorry that I'm here to tell you I'm not gonna follow him. Because he is going to cause another accident. So I will stay behind him until an officer can get to us, but until then, I'm not moving.
Yeah, no, that's what I want. I want you guys to go back to the location where it happened, and an officer will be out there momentarily, okay? Ma'am. Ma'am.
All I can hear is Hannah yelling in the background, even though it's faint. Ooh, you heard it. Heard the gun.
Okay, you got the tag number.
Listen to her barking orders at everyone. Sounds pretty bossy there. Heard the gun. Gosh, it's chilling. She just said, I'm fine, but he ain't. Wow.
Okay, ma'am, where are you guys located now?
Oh, gosh.
Ma'am.
I don't know.
Okay, so she said, I did, because they asked who shot him. She said, you did hear her say, I did.
Okay, ma'am.
There's a police officer here now.
Okay, speak with them.
All right.
Judge McCusker, correct? Yes.
I wish the audio had been better, but we get the gist of it. I mean, I don't even think Mr. Herring had time to get out of the car because they were stopped at another location. And then she got out and immediately started speaking to him.
Okay, are you response, Attorney?
Judge, it's not hearsay, the document, I mean, the recording is already in evidence. We also filed a notice of business record, which she testified to a business record, which is the exception to hearsay, and we put this defendant on notice that we were going to tender these 911 calls under the hearsay exception of business records.
If she goes down the line of trying to go exactly what the intent was, I mean, she talked about what's on it, but if there's any intent of what was meaning by these comments or what was said on it, I would say no. I would object at that time.
Okay, so I'm going to overrule the objection because when she was qualified as a trainer and as a supervisor, and the testimony that she's given is consistent with what the training would be. So I will overrule the objection.
Thank you, Judge. And again, not asking why you think a particular person said something, but are those types of instructions that go back to the scene, don't chase, don't follow, things along those lines, are they consistent with the training that is provided to the 911 call takers?
Yes.
Thank you. And Judge, we have no further questions of this witness at this time, subject to our request at the bench to republish the 911 calls once the audio in this courtroom is fixed and everyone will be able to hear it.
Oh, okay, that's good.
During the bench conference, I did indicate that I would grant the request to republish so that everything that needs to be heard from the tape can be heard. So once, hopefully by lunchtime, the issue will be resolved and we'll be able to republish it.
And then you don't get
Correct. Attorney Tucker had no objections to that. So the record will reflect that.
Okay, so it sounds like they're going to replay them.
You say your last name again so I don't miss it. Super, okay. And you stated there that there was training that was given to talk about not to chase or to stay back. When was this training given?
That is our training that we go by whenever we hire new employees. They go through an academy and a classroom, and it's usually 3 to 4 weeks before they start taking live phone calls.
And the employee that took this call, how long have they been working there?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Okay. But you're sure they took the training, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And based on your hearing this call, have you ever sat as a 911 operator?
Yes.
Okay. And as hearing this call, it sounded kind of calm compared to a lot of 911 calls, correct?
I wouldn't say that.
Let's say that you didn't. So you're saying that 911 calls don't have people that are excited yelling or?
They do, but you just never know, when you pick it up, who's going to be excited or who's going to be calm.
Okay. So based on your experience as a 911 operator and hearing this audio, you're saying that didn't sound very calm, the interaction back and forth? Both the first and the second, at the beginning of the second?
Between the operator and the caller, yes, until the end.
Okay. So, and in the training that they get, if an individual says, hey, I'm hopping into my car to go get a tag, and that's it, they're told to say, our policy, what we learned is not to chase and say it one time and not say anything else?
We tell them that they can do it if they feel safe to do so, but we don't want to do anything to put them in danger nor the public.
So, being on the other side of the phone, how would they know, how would an operator know if somebody's going to be safe or not?
If you're following a car going down the road during rush hour, I wouldn't think that would be safe.
Would the level of their voice or intensity of the voice give an impression, as when you were a 911 operator, would that give you an impression that it might not be safe or it might be safe?
The voice that we use,
Yes.
we are supposed to be calm.
No, the voice, I'm sorry, let me clarify. The voice that you hear coming in on the 911 call. If it's more excited, would you, as a 911 caller, believe that it's maybe not as safe versus a calm conversation?
No, we have people that call about a dog being in their yard that are hysterical. So you really can't gauge how somebody is versus the way they're speaking.
And so you stayed calm no matter what? Okay. And in this particular one here, as the conversation pursued, she said, I'm gonna go ahead and get the tag, and it was stated that, the policy is not to be safe, we want you safe. You heard that, correct?
Yes.
And then you didn't hear anything else until she gave the tag number, correct?
Correct.
How many times have they trained to say, we don't want you to follow this car, we don't want you to do this? How many times are they supposed to say it in their training?
We tell them that. If they say they're going to continue to do it, then we just try to get as much information as we can.
So you're saying that the policy is to tell them not to follow or not to chase, but to be safe. But it's not to reiterate that or come back and say, hey, our policy is this, don't do that.
We would tell them not to do it.
One time, two
And
times,
then,
3 times?
and then we're listening to get other information, because a lot of our information comes from hearing what's going on in the background.
So how effective is it to tell them don't chase if you're waiting to get information from them?
We tell them not to chase, and then that's on them if they do chase. I don't know what the difference is between telling them once or telling them 5 times.
Okay, help me understand. So it's a policy for y'all to say it, but it's not a policy to try to force them not to or try to convince them not to?
She wasn't going to be convinced.
It's our job to take the call and put the information in, and what a person does on their own will is what they do.
So it's a policy to protect 911.
We told her to go back to the scene, which
After,
is in our policy.
after getting the tag number, correct?
If they can safely get the tag number, we'll take it down
I'm
to the
specifically
officers.
talking about this audio here.
Yes.
It was after.
So I suppose it's the 911 operator's fault.
County 911, what's the location of the emergency?
If we could just hold that on.
I'm on Clark Howell in North Parkway, the intersection. I actually called about 20 minutes ago for an accident, and no one has showed up yet. But I
If I may approach it, Your Honor. These are the transcripts of the 911 first. And this is the second. And what I'm specifically asking is, you can read this page and the next page to refresh your memory,
Okay.
and then I'll ask questions about that.
Okay.
Okay, so from hearing the audio and looking at the transcripts of the 911 tape, it was said one time, please ma'am, don't chase, and nothing else was said until the tag was given to him, correct?
Correct. But she did tell her that we don't want her to chase him. She asked her if she could get his tag number, and when she advised that she was chasing him, they said not to do that.
She never advised she was chasing them, correct?
She said she's catching up to him,
Okay.
and that's when they told her that we did not want her to chase him.
And then what was said after that?
That we wanted her to be safe.
And what was said after that?
She said she understood, and we told her that it was not safe for her to chase him.
Excuse me. So, in those conversations, did you say, do not chase, or did it was said one time, and then it was a radio pause or audio pause until she gave the number, correct?
She said, we actually do not want you to chase him. Your defendant said, I understand. And then we said, it is not safe to chase him. So we said it twice.
Okay, and upon that, what
There you
happened?
go.
What was said after that?
After that, the defendant advised that she understood 100%,
Okay.
and that she was just going to get his tag number.
Play the full, the entire one.
Yeah. I know.
County 911.
I don't like him.
Of the emergency. Yes, ma'am. I'm on Clark Howell in North Parkway, the intersection. I actually called about 20 minutes ago for an accident, and no one has shown up yet. But I never knew the person that the guy that caused the accident, who ran the red light, is drunk. and he stopped me back in his
See,
car.
she assumed he was drunk.
Looking like he's trying to drive away. And can you get his tag number? Hold on, he's driving away. It's a red Dodge Dakota. Hold on. Okay, so he is going west, down Fort down Fort Parkway. Okay, so you couldn't get the tag number? No, but I'm catching up to him right now. Okay, no, we actually do not want you to chase him. We just want you to be safe. I understand. I understand 100%. I'm just gonna get the tag number, if nothing else. But I am going west down Fort Parkway. And we almost up to him. I mean, his radiator is busted and everything. I honestly have no idea how he's driving his truck. The way that it is. Okay. It is a
We'll be landing in Tampa in about 10 minutes. You'll be able to see the world's most modern airports. We circle in for our approach.
What was true then is true now.
Georgia has license plate R8 Apple 4859. Okay. So if you can go back to that location where the incident happened, it's because someone is actually on the way to use that now. Okay, well, there's a police officer there, but he is drunk. I'm sorry, but I'm here to tell you I'm not gonna follow him. Because he is going to cause another accident. So I'm gonna stay behind him until the officer can get to us, but until then, I'm not moving. Yeah, no, that's what I'm.
All right, ma'am. So,
Yeah, see, he stopped it and she was just getting ready to tell her again that she did not want her to follow him. Let's see what Attorney Tucker says.
you heard the conversation again. And that appears that in that conversation, when they're asking, did you get his tag number? What did it sound like she was doing? Did it sound like she was moving forward or running with the phone or trying to get to her car? What did it sound like to you?
Obviously, that's speculation. This witness can't speculate to what the defendant is doing.
Okay, and I'll rephrase it. In your
Please do.
Sustain the objection.
Yep.
in your experience as a 911 operator, when somebody's on the phone and breathing heavy or sounding as if what you just heard, in your experience, what would you conclude is going on?
I mean, I couldn't come to a conclusion. She could be outside and the wind could be blowing.
Okay. So, but during that period of time that was elapsing, is it the training that is told to say, man, do not chase? Is it told when they say, you didn't get the tag? Is it training that they tell you to say, don't chase at that time?
When we find out that they are pursuing, that's when we let them know not to do it.
Okay, so when they asked, so you couldn't get the tag, and she said, kind of, no, I didn't. At that time, you're supposed to say, do not chase, be safe.
If she said she was following the vehicle, then yes.
Okay, and then from that point, and I don't know if you caught it, I was tying it over here, there is a gap, a significant gap of about 37 seconds. That radio contact with her and 911 is just blank. Is that the policy just to kind of sit back and hear and wait? Or is it to go ahead and say, Our policy is not to chase. Please do not chase. Our policy. Or what happens? What does training teach you?
I can't say what the operator was doing. I wasn't there. I could say what I think happened, but I can't say for sure what was
But
going
I'm
on.
asking about training. The training that they go through to be able to handle calls like this. In the training,
Each call is
are
different.
they taught to, if there's a gap or you hear that somebody chases, continuously tell them, do not chase? Or is it the policy to say, well, let's see what happens?
We don't continuously
Oh,
tell them.
gosh.
We tell them, we wait for them to talk back to us. But again, I'm not the one that took the call, so I can't speculate on what was going on in that dispatcher's brain.
And I'm not speculating about that. I'm asking about the training. You said everyone gets this training. The training, are they taught to continuously tell them not to chase, or you say it once and then you sit back to see what happens?
I'm trying to do some leeway, but he's asked this question about 10 times.
I've not heard a yes or no.
Wait, all
10
10
times.
Okay, just be reminded that we have a court reporter that cannot record two voices at the same time.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you'd allow the objection to be complete, Attorney Tucker.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
And for the official, the objection is asked and answered.
right, and your response, Attorney
Your Honor,
Tucker.
I have not heard, I'm asking specific yes or no questions. I have not heard a response of yes or no and then an explanation. I've heard someone trying to say speculation, but I'm asking for a yes or no.
Whoa.
And I've not heard that.
Okay, so I am going to sustain the objection.
Uh-huh.
She has answered the question several times, so the objection is sustained.
Okay.
He's grasping.
So the gap of, say, what I estimated was 37 seconds. During that period of time, you did not hear on this tape her say, do not chase, during that gap, correct? And the gap would be from when the 911 was over talking, when she was talking and you couldn't clearly hear what was being said, but it does appear that she says, I understand, and kind of in the background the other operator saying, it's not safe to chase him. In that gap from that point on, did you hear the 911 operator say, do not chase, do not chase?
No.
Okay. And you stated earlier, and I wrote it down, you stated earlier that only certain people can accept or hold these 911 tapes, correct? In the beginning of your testimony.
In our department, only certain people can access them.
Okay, and who's Tim White?
He used to be the open records, the person that pulled the open record tape, the audio.
Okay, during this period of time when this audio was taken, was he over all that at that time?
I don't remember.
Have you ever met Tim White?
Yes.
Okay.
Look at
Now,
the
you stated earlier too that he
the
cannot
prosecutor.
be altered
She does not hold
or
back her
changed
expressions.
in any form or fashion, correct?
Correct.
Has there ever been an occasion while you've been working there where there's a gap and it could not be explained in the 911 tape? A
What
gap
kind of
like
gap?
just a radio silence or a clip that's missing or a gap.
I mean, there have been times when the system has failed.
And when the system fails, does it leave a gap in the 911 tape or how does it fail?
We wouldn't have audio. We wouldn't have an audio recording. I don't work with IT, so I'm not sure how to answer some of these questions.
And I don't want you to go down the road that you're not familiar with, but I'm just asking. So those times have occurred when there's been some kind of gap or some kind of alter to the 911 tape because it was not recorded, correct?
It hasn't been altered. There's been times when the system would malfunction and it wouldn't record anything, but not when somebody was on a phone call.
Okay. And to your knowledge, on that one tape, there was no notes that it didn't catch the audio, it didn't record the audio on that second call?
No, everything recorded.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if that was a genuine smile she gave or not.
call its next witness.
St. Paul's Teauna, McCranny.
They said Teauna McCranny.
What witness is that?
Teauna, McCranny. All right, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm the testimony that you will provide to this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you may lower your hand, take a seat in that chair, and pull yourself up to the microphone. There's a court reporter here. She'll be taking on everything you say, so make sure you speak clearly into the microphone.
Okay.
All right, would you please state and spell your name for the record?
Teauna McCranny, Teauna McCranny.
And Ms. McCranny, are you familiar with the area of Forest Parkway at the intersection of Riverdale Road?
No. Not too familiar, but I was there.
But have you traveled that area before?
Yes.
And were you in the area of Forest Parkway and Riverdale Road on May 7, 2019?
Yes.
Now, do you recall why you were in that area that day?
I dropped a coworker off from work.
And what road were you actually traveling on? Do you recall?
No, I'm not good with directions.
Okay, I'm going to show you what has been previously introduced as State's Exhibit 2A for demonstrative purposes. So is that the area where you were traveling on May 7th, 2019?
Yes.
Now, as you look at that area on that map, can you tell me which road you were actually traveling on? And if you need to take a closer look, you ought to make sure you step down.
Yes.
This was a highway? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going down this road.
Which would be Riverdale Road?
Yes.
Okay. Now, are you familiar with an incident involving a shooting that took place in that area on May 7, 2019?
Yes.
Okay, and can you explain to this court what you observed?
I was in the lane closest to that little, I guess, divider. That's where the crosswalk is.
You can get down and point to explain.
I was coming down here in this little area right here. It was like a pickup truck right there, and a Jeep came and like ran over this little spot and blocked him. And blocked him from driving, so he abruptly braked. And it caught my attention because it was like really aggressive. I thought it was just road rage at the time. And then a woman popped out of the car and she said, "Get the F out of the truck," to him a bunch of times. And she pulled out a gun, and I remember there was a lot of traffic, so we couldn't really move, and people started honking to get the heck out of the way. And I remember her back was to me, so I was really close to them, and I didn't really have anywhere to go. I was blocked in, and she was talking to him. I don't remember what they were saying at this time anymore, but I remember he backed up a little bit and he hit her truck and she jumped through the window and started fighting him. At that time, people were really honking, and I had a little bit of space to move up, so I pulled into the lane that they would have been in to pull over because I knew I was gonna stay, and then call the cops. So I was on the phone with the cops at the time.
Okay, so when you first saw the Dodge Dakota, he was merging from Forest Parkway onto Riverdale Road,
Yes.
and then you observed the Jeep. How did she maneuver the vehicle once he merged onto Riverdale Road? Did she come around his vehicle?
Yeah, she went around his vehicle and blocked him from being able to go anywhere.
Now, when the Dodge Dakota was cut off, did it hit the Jeep at that time?
No, it was close, but he didn't hit her.
Now, can you explain the traffic conditions on that day on Riverdale Road?
It was busy both ways, like blocked, and I remember there was a cop. There was a cop car at the highway. Like, I don't know what they were doing, but it was a lot of traffic. It was like very congested.
So was traffic moving?
It was moving, but it was very slow.
Now, when you saw the Jeep jump the median and block the Dodge Dakota, when did the person jump out of that Jeep?
Immediately.
And when the person jumped out of that Jeep, where did they go?
Straight to his window on the driver's side.
Now, as you sit here in the courtroom today, do you see the person that was driving that Jeep?
Yes.
And can you identify that person by where they're sitting in the courtroom and what they're wearing?
Yellow, dress casual outfit right there.
All right, let the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in open court. Now, when the defendant jumped out of the Jeep and headed toward the Dodge Dakota, what, if anything, did you hear her say?
I heard her say, "Get the F out the car." She just kept cussing at him. "Get the F out the car."
Now, could you tell whether Mr. Herring's window was up or down?
I don't believe that it was completely up or down, but I don't remember. I'm not gonna say.
But how close was the defendant to his window?
Very close to his window.
And can you describe the defendant's demeanor?
Aggressive.
Now, were you able to see Mr. Herring inside of his vehicle during this incident?
Yes.
And what did you observe of Mr. Herring?
He looked confused.
And could you recall if he was saying anything back to the defendant?
Not at this time. I did, but I don't remember anymore what he said.
Now, at any point in time when you observed the altercation, did you see Mr. Herring's hands at any time come out of the truck?
No.
Could you see him attack the defendant in any way?
No. I mean, I did see a struggle after she jumped in his car, jumped through his window.
So the defendant jumps over the median and cuts Mr. Herring's vehicle off.
Yes.
And you're saying she immediately jumped out of the truck and went towards his driver's side window, cursing, telling him to get out of the car. And at some point, there is a struggle.
Oh, yes.
And at what point in time did she jump inside of the vehicle?
After he hit her Jeep.
Now, what is the defendant doing at the driver's side window before Mr. Herring kind of hits her Jeep?
Holding him at gunpoint and cussing at him.
Now, when did you observe the defendant take out the gun and point it at Mr. Heron?
Very shortly after she got out of her truck.
Was it before or after he hit her vehicle?
Before.
Now, did you observe the defendant actually shoot Mr. Heron?
No.
You had pulled your car up prior to that.
Excuse me, guys.
Now, you made a 911 call during this incident, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what has been previously marked as Exhibit 6. Do you recognize it?
Yes.
And how are you able, what do you recognize it to be?
My 911 call.
How are you able to recognize that that is the 911 call you made?
I listened to it and my initials.
And as you listen to it, is it the same 911 call that you made on May 7th, 2019?
Yes.
All right, state moves into evidence, state Exhibit 6. Any objection?
Presuming once it starts, she hears the 911 initial voice, no objection.
Admitted without objection. All right, permission to publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
It's okay. Hold on, sweetheart. Call it about Forest Parkway, Riverdale Road. I'm sorry. Okay.
Mm.
Hello? Hello? Hi. I'm sorry. I want to, the intersection of Phoenix Boulevard and Riverdale, right before the, highway. Is this woman? Okay, so, sorry, they got, it was like a merging lane, and then, it was a merging lane, and then she like stopped the patient and went around him for no reason, because it was causing traffic, and then, he almost hit her because he did that, so he braked suddenly, but then she got mad, hopped out her car, and then she pulled out her gun and started screaming at him, and he was like, what the heck? And then she was like, I was just shooting, and she started hitting him, yes. Okay, and where is that? We're right by the exit of 285 West and 65 North, and it's like Phoenix Boulevard goes one way. Yeah, I got around with it. Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
That'd be terrifying to witness.
Hello? Yes, ma'am. Are you still here? Sorry, yes, I'm still here. Okay, you said she pulled out a gun? Yes. Did she shoot the gun? We heard a gunshot, and the guy, one guy got in his car, and he was like, "Yo, we need an ambulance." Now I'm locked in. The guy was like, "We need an ambulance." I don't know if he got him or not. Sorry, baby. Well, you know. Did he shot him?
Oh.
He shot him. What time is it in the morning? She's getting locked up. He was in like a, hold on. It's like a brown pickup. It's a small, it's a motor. Okay. And she's a Jeep. Okay, we have someone in touch, okay? They're there already.
When you saw the defendant cut Mr. Herring's vehicle off, what was her demeanor?
Your Honor, I judge that information. She doesn't know his name. She doesn't know what her demeanor would be. Therefore, I believe this is speculation.
Your response, Lady.
Your Honor, she can testify about anything she observed as far as the defendant's actions on that day.
So I'm going to overrule the objection. The witness can certainly
Nice
testify
try,
as to
Attorney
her personal
Smarmy.
observation and what she concluded from her observation.
I did not see her in her Jeep when she got out. She was immediately aggressive. I didn't understand what was going on. I just thought it was like road rage at the time. Maybe I didn't understand, but that was the first time I saw
Yeah,
her.
I probably would have thought that
She
also.
was immediately aggressive.
And you said it shortly after she jumped out of that Jeep, she pulled her gun
Yeah. Yes.
and went immediately to Mr. Herring's window.
Yes.
Did you ever see her attempt to de-escalate the situation?
No. I don't recall her trying to de-escalate anything.
And as you sit here today, you stated that Mr. Herring looked confused.
Yes.
Now, when she blocked Mr. Herring's vehicle in, did she block it in a way where he was able to maneuver around her or get away?
No. Being that because she did that abruptly when he was actually about to go and he had to jerk and stop, he was very close to her car. I don't believe that he could have backed up and been able to go around her, especially without hitting her since she was in front of his window on the driver's side.
And did you ever see him physically get out of that vehicle?
No.
Now, did you observe Mr. Herring after he was shot?
No.
Did you observe the defendant after Mr. Herring was shot?
Yes.
And what was her demeanor at that time?
Calm. Like, aloof. When I saw her, she had the gun and the cops were coming, and she just was like, here, gave it to them. Like I don't know. There wasn't a lot of emotion there.
I would just say if I had, whether it was the person's, Mr. Herring's fault or mine, if I had just shot someone, if it was an accident or if he had even been the one, I would feel hugely responsible and would be very upset. So I guess we could speculate and say that she was calm because she was in shock, but I feel like kind of just from so far, we'll see that she felt really right about what she did. She was in the right, confident, so maybe that's why she didn't appear upset. That's just me guessing. Remember, I'm no doctor, lawyer, nothing like that. Just somebody with opinion.
Now, you testified that you observed Mr. Herring hit the defendant's Jeep.
Yes.
Where was the defendant standing when that happened?
His driver's, where she was the whole time.
So she wasn't in front of his vehicle.
And there was not space for her to in front of his vehicle, no.
So he wouldn't have been attempting to run her over.
No.
Now, talked about the altercation and that happened inside of the vehicle between the defendant and Mr. Herring. Could you see what was happening with their hands?
I just remember her hitting him. I started to pull up because it was getting a little, because she had that gun, I didn't want to risk a straight bullet being right behind them, so I started pulling up. And I heard the shot when I was like in front of, it was a truck, I believe, but I pulled up. So I don't remember too much. I just remember she started hitting him and I was like, I just drove away.
Now, as she's hitting Mr. Herring, could you see what Mr. Herring was doing at the time?
No.
Did you see him respond and hit her back?
I don't remember.
All right, no further questions.
Okay, here we go.
Mr. McCranny?
Yes.
My name's Matt Tucker. I'm the attorney for Ms. Payne here. I have a few questions to ask. So your testimony you gave so far is that she jumped over the curb and cut this vehicle off, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you saw where they ended up because you were right behind them or right in front of them?
Yes. Are you asking me for clarification?
Yes, sir. Were you in front of them or behind them?
I was behind. Really, I was like this, side by side, so they're merging, and they would have been in the next lane to me if he hadn't been able to keep driving. But there was a yield right there, so he's waiting for traffic.
So you say there was a yield sign there?
I believe so. But they need to yield to traffic because they were merging into a lane.
Okay, what I'm asking you from what you saw that day, did you see a yield sign?
I don't remember.
Okay. And you're saying that you were side by side?
Originally, yes.
Side by side the Jeep or the truck?
The truck.
Okay. So then you would be behind the Jeep, correct?
Sure, yes. Yes.
Well, I'm asking you if you remember, and if you like, if Your Honor, if I may approach.
Yes.
What I have here pictures of the end result that day. Recall seeing this kind and having seen that, is that a fair and accurate representation of what you recall happening that day?
Yes.
And that's exactly how you saw the vehicles at the end? At this time, Your Honor, I would like to tender defense exhibit number 6, number 4, and number 7.
6, 4, and 7. Any objection? No objection, Your Honor. I did it without objection.
And if I may publish them to the jurors.
Okay.
We'll look at them one more time. Alright. Okay.
It's behind it.
Okay. There's that.
Okay.
You see the median?
Yes.
Okay. And is there any need to jump that median for these vehicles to end up in that position?
No.
So your testimony was that she jumped the median. Now that you've refreshed your memory, do you believe that she jumped the median?
She did go around him, but I see the pictures, but I do believe that she ran over the median.
Okay, if she ran over the median, as it's here,
Yeah, I see it.
okay, would she have ended up in that position in front of the truck if the truck was stopped, as you said, waiting to merge into traffic?
The court ready to accept it.
Oh,
She's
okay.
not able to. Thank you.
Yes. Gotcha. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
All right, knowing where the median is from that picture, refreshing your memory from the pictures in front of you, for the vehicles to be in that position, was it necessary for a car to jump a median to be there?
No.
Okay, so having seen that and seen these pictures, do you recall that she did or did not jump the median to get in front?
No.
Okay. So do you recall writing a statement to the police on that day?
Yes.
I may approach her on. This will be defense exhibit number 6. That's review. That's 6. I'm sorry.
6, 4, and 7.
Yep. So, you know where?
What? 8.
Yes, ma'am. Does that look like a fair and accurate representation of what you wrote that day?
Yes.
Is that your signature at the bottom?
Yes.
At this time, Your Honor, I would like to introduce defense exhibit number 8. All right, now that you've had time to review that document, did you ever mention about jumping a median to cut off the truck?
No.
Okay. And looking at that statement you made, your testimony here today is that she jumped out with a gun and held that gun point, correct?
Yes.
Okay. From that statement you wrote right there, did you say anything about her jumping out with a gun and holding him at gunpoint?
No.
Okay. And in fact, in that statement, you said that they started hitting and then a gun was pulled, correct?
No.
Okay. What did you say?
She cut him off, and he had to brake suddenly, and he almost hit her by like an inch. Then she hopped out so quickly, screaming, and pulled up her shirt with her gun. Then she started hitting him.
Okay. Now, the part there that he did not hit the vehicle at the beginning, correct?
Yes.
But then you did state that he did ram the vehicle and hit the vehicle, correct?
Yes.
So there was a space between them that he didn't hit. He had an area of space between the two vehicles, correct? There was no accident at that time.
Yes.
And I believe in your testimony you said he could have backed up and left without hitting her, correct?
No.
You just stated it a second ago. You said he could have pulled back and gone away without hitting her.
No, there was no space between their vehicles for her to be in front of him to hit her. And she was at his driver's window. So if he was trying to get away, he would have hit her.
Okay, ma'am, your testimony just a minute ago, you said that she was at the window and he could have
Yes.
backed up and drove off without hitting her.
Okay. I don't recall saying that, and if I did say that, I don't agree. Because she was at his driver's window. So, no.
And Your Honor, I'm not sure if the court reporter can repeat back exactly what she said, but if it is possible, I'd like for the reporter to allow her to hear what she said previously.
She already said, though, if that's what she said, she doesn't agree with what she said, but I guess he's grasping.
Excuse me? Yes.
She's very young. I will say, well, in case they start talking, I appreciate the fact that she is taking her time to answer the questions carefully, because, as I said before, it's been some years, several years, and so it is going to be hard to remember what you said, didn't say. But I'm glad that she is taking her time to answer the questions, because it would be all too easy to allow somebody like, I won't call him smarmy, okay, right at this moment, Mr. Tucker, to kind of like make you feel rushed to answer. So I'm glad that she is taking her time to answer her questions, even if she didn't get it all right. But I think the main thing she got right. That's just my opinion. I mean, so far. The end result, whether Hannah jumped the median or not, I mean, I think they'll show photographs. I mean, I guess it would be good to make sure to see that she did, in fact, cut him off. But even if she didn't jump a median and still cut him off, I still think it's all still the same. Let's see.
And in the meantime, Your Honor, if I may publish the other.
Now, when the Dodge Dakota was cut off, did it hit the Jeep at that time? The witness said no, it was close, but he didn't hit her. And then Ms. Hunter asked, can you explain the traffic on Riverdale Road? It was busy both ways, blocked. There was a cop car at the highway. I don't know what they were doing, but a lot of traffic. It was very congested. Does that sound around the point you're talking about?
It's the question, line of questioning she was asking, and then she asked about could he pull away.
The court reporter has a lovely voice as well.
When she blocked Mr. Herron's vehicle, and did she block it in a way where she was able to go around her vehicle? He was able to go around her vehicle and get away? No, I don't believe he could have backed up and then been able to go around her, especially without hitting her since she was to the front of his window on the driver's side. Did you see him physically get out of that vehicle? No.
So basically you were saying that she was at the front side of his window, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but you said she jumped in his window. Okay. How could she have jumped in his window and been in the front of his window?
Huh?
She was at his driver's door. Just want to be clear. She was at his driver's door.
So she was at his driver's door. She wasn't in the window. She had jumped in the window, correct?
Not at the time.
Okay. And you said that you were at the side of the vehicle, the side of the Jeep or the side of the truck?
The side of the truck. Since they're in the same lane, both of them.
So they were in the same lane? Is that a lane right there?
Yes.
So you're telling me that the truck is in a lane and the Jeep is in the lane, but the lane is going straight forward according to that diagram right there beside you?
No.
Okay, so there's a lane that's going straight and a lane that is merging, correct?
Right.
And you said there was a yield there, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if the Jeep appears to be going straight down that one lane, correct?
Yes. To the picture. Yeah.
Okay, so your testimony here today says she jumped a median, that you did not see a median that she could have jumped from that picture, correct?
Yes.
And by jumping this median, somehow she got in front of him and stopped him where he could not go around.
Yes.
Okay, is there space to go around as you look at that picture right there?
This is not a picture that was taken during this. Everyone moved out of the way. So I wouldn't say this is an accurate assessment to go off of, especially if I'm saying there's a bunch of traffic and we don't see any other cars here. There was not space at the time with the other cars around when this did happen.
So you're saying that you agree that is the end result of the two vehicles, correct?
Yes, I can see
Okay.
right here.
And you're telling me that there was a car on the right side of the truck?
The left side
Okay.
of the truck.
All right, if you look. Sorry, if I may bring it. So, if you like, this way. Come in this way.
Yeah.
Right
Someone
side.
asked me to speak, so that
I'll speak loud.
And so I can.
Yeah, we need. Yeah, he sounded a little sneaky there. We need to be able to hear him.
Flow of traffic, right there, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That would be the right side of the truck, correct?
Yes.
All right, was there any cars on the right side of that truck?
At the time this happened, yes.
Why would there be a car on the right side of that truck? if that lane is merging into the other lane, why would there be a car on the other side of the truck?
You just told me, because I said no at first, that it was the left side, which is where traffic would be. When you came and approached me, you said it would be on the other side.
This is commentary. I mean, I'm asking a specific question. And
There would be no cars on the right side.
Okay. And you are on the left side, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you could see the truck, but you could not see the Jeep. The Jeep would be in front of you, correct?
Yes.
And you said that you could see her jump into the window. That's what you initially said, but then you said no, she was outside the door, correct?
I said both.
So she jumped in that little small window right there.
Yes.
Okay. So while she's in the window,
Yes.
you can't see anything beyond the window, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You can't see any hands, you can't see what's going on because from your testimony, she's in the window.
Yes.
Okay. So how could you see her hitting him? Or how could you see a gun, him being held at gunpoint if she's in the window?
Because when she got out of her vehicle, she had him at gunpoint. She pulled out her gun. So, yes, she got out of her vehicle and she held him at gunpoint. He hit her vehicle. They started to fight. I moved up because I don't want to be by that.
So when you moved up, did you move up to where the Jeep was or past the Jeep?
I moved past both of them.
Okay. So it's fair to say that once you moved up past the Jeep, you couldn't see anything behind you.
It's fair, yes.
Okay. So you're saying that she came out, she's holding him at gunpoint, and she decides to jump into the vehicle. Why would she jump in the vehicle? Is it because you said he rammed her car? She just said it, Your Honor. Just clarify. I'm sorry.
Okay, I think he asked why would she do that? Correct, what's your
Okay, I
response?
will correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so sustained the objection, you can
From the position you were at, watching what was
Get it
going
right.
on, your testimony here today is that she was holding him at gunpoint and then jumped into the window, correct? I'm just trying to clarify so I can go forward because of the misconstrued that was said earlier, and that's all it was.
We try to get her confused.
the objection and just allow the clarification. Go ahead, Attorney.
So that part is understood, correct?
She held him at gunpoint and he hit her car and they started to fight. Yes.
All right. And you said they started to fight.
Yes.
All right. Fighting before she jumped in the window, or how were they fighting? How did you see them fighting?
I saw her hit him. I began to move up. I looked back. She was more in his window. I didn't see what they had going on at that point. It's obviously that they're fighting. And I pulled in front of them so that I could call the cops.
Okay, so you said before she jumped in the window, from your testimony, they were fighting, correct? You saw that. I'm sorry. You saw her hit him, correct?
Yes.
Which hand did she hit him with?
I don't remember.
Which hand was the gun in?
I believe it was her. I don't remember.
Thank you. Okay, now, did you say anything in your initial report to the police about her jumping in the window?
In my initial report.
Yes, and if you need to refresh.
Yes.
Love
Okay. You said, did I say anything about?
jumping in the window. vehicles, so you couldn't see really what was going on.
Yes.
But you could see clearly the truck hit the Jeep, correct?
Yes.
And he previously not hit the Jeep before she came to the window, correct?
Yes.
But there were no cars on the right side of the truck, correct?
Yes.
Now, when you called 911 at the very beginning, you said something to the effect of, she shot him, and the second time it sounded like you said, she shot him, as if it were a question. Were you speaking to somebody else when you asked that question?
Yes.
Okay. And you were speaking to either confirm what you said or to, what were you asking the other person that you said she shot him?
Yes, I was confirming.
Okay. And who were you speaking to?
The other side of the street, people were screaming that she shot him. So I just confirmed with them.
Okay, but you said that you couldn't see her shoot him, and is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
And that you were in a position where you could not see back anything after, as you said, she jumped in the window, correct?
Yes.
So you didn't see him shoot, correct?
Right. Yes.
Okay. And you didn't see anything after he rammed her car, and as you said, she jumped in the window.
Yes, I pulled up.
Okay. All right. Now, after the situation, did you hear the story on the news?
No,
You didn't.
I don't watch the news.
Had anybody talked to you about the situation?
No.
Nobody called to talk to you? To follow up on what you wrote by the police?
Oh, a news reporter did, like a news channel.
Okay. A news channel did contact you, correct?
Yes.
And you talked to this news. I'm not going to ask you the content because that's hearsay. But in your explanation, did you give the same story to the news that you're giving today in testimony, or did you give the story that you wrote down?
I don't remember.
You don't remember. Okay. But you do remember talking to the media, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did you talk to anybody else after speaking with the media?
Yes.
Okay. And
Bonnie?
and that's fair. I'm not throwing trick questions out here. I'm just asking. Okay, so you talked to the state.
Yes.
Did you talk to the law enforcement?
Yes.
Okay. And in those statements there, did you ever have an interview down at the Clayton County Police Department?
No.
So basically, your statements of what occurred were written down on that document that you wrote, correct?
Yes.
And what you told to the media, correct?
Yes.
And what you told to the state, correct?
Yes.
And today you're testifying that she came out of the vehicle, held him at gunpoint.
Yes.
He rammed her vehicle.
Yes.
She jumped in the window.
Yes.
And then you pulled in front so you couldn't see anything else.
Yes.
And one more thing. You said that you did hear an exchange between the driver of the truck and Miss Payne, correct?
Yes.
You just couldn't understand the words that were being said.
The main thing I remember is her saying that I thought her. But no, I don't remember their dialogue.
Okay. But it was loud on both sides, correct?
Some. I was able to hear. I don't remember what he said, but I heard some of what he said. I didn't hear all of what he said. Just
Sure.
her. I heard her a lot.
But you heard some of what he said?
Yes.
What did he say?
I, again, don't remember. I just remember I heard it. I remembered last year, but I don't remember anymore. I don't want to make anything up.
So you remembered it last year, correct? And you don't remember it today?
Right.
Did you write it down, or did you tell anybody last year what you heard and what you recall?
I recorded it. I don't have the recording. But no, other than that, no.
Why did you feel you had to record it?
I didn't want to forget.
But here you are today, at the time of trial, and you didn't listen to that recording? She said she recorded it, and she recorded it for her memory, and I'm asking her, did she listen to that recording today or before today?
So I'll overrule the objection and allow her to answer.
So did you listen to that recording before coming here today?
I did not. I don't have that phone anymore.
But your intent to record it was so that you could remember it for today?
It was.
And you stated that. Now, just to clarify, one last question, I'll leave it. You're stating when you moved forward, you couldn't see what was going on at the vehicle, correct?
That's correct.
So when you moved forward, was the last thing you saw her in the window of the truck?
Yes. I thought you were going to give me an or, but yes.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet because we've been up here a little while. So
Yeah.
the last thing you remember is seeing her in the window?
Yes.
No further questions.
All right, Ms. McCranny, you have Defense's Exhibit 8 in front of you. And that is a copy of your statement.
Yes.
Can you read that statement?
The merging lane on Forest Parkway and Riverdale Road, I was coming down the right lane before the merge. She cut him off and he had to brake suddenly and he almost hit her by like an inch. Then she hopped out so quickly screaming and pulled her shirt up with her gun. Then she started hitting him. I pulled up when I saw the gun. He hit her car. Then she started hitting him. I was like 1 foot in front of the car and called the cops. We heard a shot. There were 2 cops at the highway merge that came.
And you made this statement and wrote this statement on May 7th, 2019.
Yes.
Which was the same day the incident occurred.
Yes.
On the same day that you observed what happened that day.
Yes.
And as you stated in your statement, he almost came within 1 inch of hitting the defendant's vehicle.
Yes.
So when the defendant keeps characterizing that he rammed her vehicle, is that accurate?
No.
How would you describe it?
It would have been like a fender bender. He didn't have a lot of space to do really any damage to our vehicle. So.
All right, no further questions.
With this witness, may she be excused.
No, you're not.
Oh boy, is he gonna come again?
You may proceed, Attorney Tucker. Go ahead.
All right. So, as you were referring back to your statement,
Yes.
you said that she came up, she pulled her shirt up with a gun, and you pulled up right when you saw that, correct? That's what your statement said?
I don't believe that's what I read. Can I get the statement back, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, what was your question?
Okay, you stated that said that you saw her come out screaming. She started hitting him and then you pulled up. So you said you saw her immediately get out of the car, pull a gun, started hitting him, and then you pulled up, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if you pulled up, how could you see anything else occur? According to your statement that you wrote then.
Yes.
So how could you see anything else go on once you pulled up?
I did not.
Okay, and in your statement here, you didn't say anything about her jumping in the window, correct?
I did not.
But you said you pulled up about a foot in front of the car, correct?
Yeah, I was like a foot in front of the car.
So how could you have pulled up and been like a foot in front of the car? Were you in front of the car, to the side of the car?
I was to the side of the car.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
I was just very shaken that day. I wanted to be as detailed as possible, but my thoughts were jumbled. So this is not exactly in chronological order here.
Okay, but you said you were jumbled and you were trying to be as specific as you could, correct?
Yes, and I wanted to write more, but there was not a lot of space. So I put to what I thought was necessary at the time.
So your statement here today is when they handed you paper to write, that you felt you had to keep it as short as that paper? Or is those lines given?
Yes.
What's on the back of that paper you wrote?
Nothing.
Could you have written on the back of the paper?
Possibly, yes. Yes.
And because you were jumbled,
Oh boy.
and you were saying you pulled up 1 foot in front of the vehicle, that may not have been accurate because you were a little bit jumbled and trying to be precise, right?
I was like a foot in front of a car when I called the cops. I pulled up after that.
So you say like a foot.
Yes.
So when you say like a foot, it could have been more than a foot, it could have been less, right?
Right.
Okay. So when you state that it was like 1 inch, it's the same concept. It could have been like 1 inch, it could have been more, it could have been less, correct?
Sure, yes.
Okay. And you keep smiling. Do you find this comical?
No. It's a coping mechanism, but I feel like I don't know.
I totally get that because I definitely will feel like I'm on the verge of laughter during a very serious situation. So I can totally identify with that. To me, he's just kind of nitpicking. But he's doing his job, but
And no further questions, Your Honor.
so, what did you think of her testimony? It's going to be hard to remember a lot of things, but I feel like she got most of it right. It is hard to remember. I feel like she was trying to, like I said, be careful in answering and just going on and agreeing with what Attorney Tucker said. I just don't know. I guess the biggest thing he's trying to do is prove maybe that they're not reliable witnesses, but I mean, so far I don't really see anything that drastic that could prove such a thing. But that's my thought. Just a few things I want to point out that y'all probably noticed, because most of y'all are quicker than me. It takes me multiple times to look at things and derive at an idea or observation. But these were a few points I thought were interesting, and why I just don't like Attorney Tucker. That's just me. He just, I don't know. I'm going to stick with, he just seems very smarmy to me. But I wanted to point out a few things where let me just show you.
Now, when she blocked Mr. Herring's vehicle in, did she block it in a way where he was able to maneuver around her or get away?
No. Being that because she did that abruptly when he was actually about to go and he had to jerk and stop. He was very close to her car. I don't believe that he could have backed up and been able to go around her, especially without hitting her since she was in front of his window on the driver's side.
And did you ever see him physically get out?
Okay, so there's that. So she just said that he was pretty much hemmed in there by her Jeep, and that she wouldn't have had space. He wouldn't have had space to back out because of how close it was without hitting her. Let's go back. Let's go forward to now when Attorney Smarmy cross-examines her.
The part there that he did not hit the vehicle at the beginning, correct?
Yes.
But then you did state that he did ram the vehicle and hit the vehicle, correct?
Yes.
So there was a space between them that he didn't hit. He had an area of space between the two vehicles, correct? There was no accident at that time.
Yes.
And I believe in your testimony it said he could have backed up and left without hitting her, correct?
No.
You just stated it a second ago. You said he could have pulled back and gone away without hitting her.
No, there was no space between their vehicles for her to be in front of him to hit her, and she was at his driver's window, so if he was trying to get away, he would have hit her.
Okay, ma'am, your testimony just a minute ago, you said that she was at the window, and he could have backed up and drove off without hitting her.
Okay. I don't recall saying that, and if I did say that, I don't agree. Because she was at his driver's window. So, no.
Good girl.
Your Honor, I'm not sure if the reporter can repeat back exactly what she said, but if it is possible, I'd like for the reporter to allow her to hear what she said previously.
Ugh. She looks miserable. He looks smug and smarmy. And now he's going to go through all this to have the court reporter pull up what she said, only to learn what we're going to come to in a second here.
Yes.
The witness said no, it was close, but he didn't hit her. And then Ms. Hunter asks, can you explain the traffic on Riverdale Road? It was busy both ways, blocked. There was a cop car at the highway. I don't know what they were doing, but a lot of traffic. It was very congested. Does that sound around the point you're talking about?
It's the question, line of questioning she was asking, and then she asked about could he pull away.
she blocked Mr. Herring's vehicle, and did she block it in a way where she was able to go around he was able to go around her vehicle and get away? No, I don't believe he could have backed up and then been able to go around her, especially without hitting her, since she was to the front of his window on the driver's side. Did you see him physically get out of that vehicle? No.
And there we have it. Vada boom. Now what the heck did he do from there? Went through all this time, and I kind of get what he's doing, and I'm sure both sides do it. You cast doubt in the person testifying, and maybe he was trying to get her to admit that, but even though maybe she got some things wrong, when certain things were read back, she would agree to it, and then this one, she was like, no, I don't think that's what I said. So what did he do after that?
So basically, you were saying.
And look at Assistant DA right there. Miss Hunter. She has a little smile on her face. And the other attorney, Bonnie Smith, just looks totally disgusted. And Hannah's probably going, oh, shit. Maybe I should have listened to Coach Malone and gotten myself another attorney. But he just passes it off and goes on to the next thing, I believe. But, I mean, he went to all that trouble to pull it back only to prove that she was right. Now, how is that going to help anything? That's my question.
Saying that she was at the front side of his window, correct?
Yes.
But you said she jumped in his window. How could she have jumped in his window?
Okay, we're going to go past that because he goes on and on about that. I don't think she literally meant per se that her whole body jumped through his window, because none of us would fit in that window. I think that probably she jumped, but half of her body probably was in the window, was what the witness was saying. It's like, okay, that's just, that's crazy. But see, he does that a lot. There was another thing where he got it wrong. And she got it wrong too, but she would own it. And then she would go, okay. But, okay. The other place, well, there were many places where Attorney Smarmy was irritating to me. And if we get back to when I'm not going to play it, because I kind of jotted things down, and you all will probably remember this too, when he was questioning or doing his cross-examination of the Kristy the 911 supervisor. He kept trying to say, is it your policy? Did you say it's your policy to don't pursue? And it's almost like he was trying to say, again, I feel like he was trying to say it was their fault, that they should have said it more. But, she kind of said, look, they tell them not to do it, but if they do it, it's on them. What are they going to be able to do on the phone line? Then he was also talking about the 37-second gap in there. She could have been saying, do not chase there. But there was just, I don't know. That was just ridiculous. But I counted, without them saying exactly do not pursue, there were 3 times that they said it. She said something like, on her second call, when she said, oh, he's left the scene of the accident. And they did ask, did she get the tag number? That makes sense. And she says, actually, I'm catching up to him now. Okay, here's the number 1, what I consider number 1 warning. Okay, this is before she even got the tag number. She said, we actually don't want you to chase him. We just want you to be safe. And then she says, I won't do the whole thing, but she says, I understand 100%, but she's just going to get the number if nothing else. And so at that point, she gave the tag information. And then after that, the 911 operator actually says, now, And I think where people like jumped and ran with it because she said something like, "We want you all," and she probably meant like maybe if there was someone in the car. I really do not believe that anyone wanted her to tell Mr. Herring to come back again. Is she going to get him in the car with her if he's inebriated and obviously a danger to her, as she said? Why would she try to get him to go back with her? And that just would be terrible advice. So somebody took the "you all" or "you guys" and really misconstrued that, Mr. Smarmy. So she said we just want you to be safe after we actually don't want you to chase him. I understand 100%. She gave the information. Then they say, okay, now you need to go back to the location of the first accident. So that's number 2. And then she says, well, and then she goes into her, I'm not going to go back because she thinks he's drunk or something's wrong, and she's just going to stay with him until. And then the third time, this is before she gets out of the car, I want you, or maybe it is, I want you guys, but it did not mean for her to tell Mr. Herring to go. I want you guys to go back to the location. Where the first accident occurred. And then you hear all this stumbling and fumbling, and I think that's where she dropped her phone, or he knocked it out of her hand, according to her. But he's trying so hard, like, okay, it's the 911 operator's fault. No, do not chase, do not chase. And they kept telling her after she got the tag number, do not chase, do not chase. But no, Smarmy is misconstruing it. And I'm not saying like they always say, there's two sides or 3 sides to every story. It'd be the defendant's side, the witness's side, and the truth. Same with, you know what I'm saying. So there's that. And that's why I have a problem with him. And again, that's my opinion. Y'all might think he's an awesome attorney, but I think, in my opinion, I'm a layperson, just so you know that. I think he's dreadful, and she really should have gotten a different attorney. But that's just me. Okay, there's my rant for the day. I hope y'all enjoyed this. This is going to get better. There's some witnesses that are really, and again, their testimonies are going to differ. But I feel like whether he ran over the median or he didn't, I understand you want to get every detail possible. But it sounds like they got the major stuff. And at the end of the day, my opinion, she shouldn't have gone after him. She could have gotten his tag number and even maybe parked at the scene without getting out and saying anything to him. But I guess I don't think she could help herself. That's just, she wanted to be, I don't know, that person. But at the end of the day, even if he had scratched her, they'll show some sort of scratches later. I still feel like he was defending himself. She was the aggressor. She knew there was something wrong with him. She said he was drunk. Who wants to go approach a drunk person? And then, as it appears we will learn later, he was having a medical condition. How do you expect her to show the phone that she's talking to the police and for Mr. Herring to even understand what the hell she's talking about? All I would see is this scary looking young woman looming in my window and having just yelled at me, which I think I did hear on the audio. Y'all are certainly entitled to your opinion, but that's my story. I'm sticking with it. So I will continue to be irritated with Mr. Smarmy. He doesn't do anything as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, to redeem himself. But I mean, I guess he's trying to work with what he's got, which isn't a lot. So I will sign off for now. I hope you all enjoyed this. There will be more interesting days in court, but it certainly is not as long as the Darrell Brooks case, that's for sure. But this is still an interesting one. And so you all know what to do. Let me see if I can get, and it's my own saying, be kind to one another. Be kind to you. I love you and appreciate your support so very much. And I'll see you the next time.